This Barry Crump novel, what was it about that inspired you to want to make a movie?
Well, it was actually the celebration of the Kiwi spirit, the spirit of adventure, the idea that we've always loved a good story about an underdog and the renegade and the person who stands up for their rights. And I think coming from a tiny country, like we're the last bastion down here in New Zealand, we've always tried to prove ourselves under the shadow of the crown and being colonials. And I felt like that Barry Crump's books and a lot of like what he was writing about was about that. It was about the underdog and about people who were just making it in this basically on this island in the middle of nowhere. And that's what I love. I love the celebration of that attitude and that energy.
Did it take a long time to get the film made?
I actually wrote the first draft of the film in 2005, and then I went off and made 3 other features, and then came back to this. And it was actually great to have that amount of time away from the picture to come back. And I'd grown as a filmmaker by then as well, so I came back and realized, this film actually doesn't need to be really dark like the book. It can be a comedy, and it can be an adventure comedy, and it can be an homage to all those great films I grew up with, like Goodbye Pork Pie and Shaker Run and Came a Hot Friday and Smash Palace, and so it was for me like also just a bit of a nod to all the people who had gone before us.
There's a fantastic scene with the tanks and helicopters. Were there any problems or obstacles making that scene?
Thankfully, there were no problems with doing the big car chase in the end of the film, but and we were heavily supported by the New Zealand Army and the police and also the locals down in Ohakune and we also I think we just had a really and down in Horapito as well, and we also had a really good family vibe with our crew and with all the cast as well. So everyone supported each other, made sure that we took care of each other, that safety was of the utmost importance.
This guy here is in the movie. So
you look so handsome as usual, John.
So next you're directing Thor. Will that be a different approach to your New Zealand movies?
My approach usually is just to look for the I think the emotional truth in the story, regardless of whether it's about a foster kid on the run from the army or about a boy who's obsessed with Michael Jackson or or some vampires living in a flat in Wellington. I'm always I really believe that if you base your story in some sort of emotional authenticity, then you're going to be okay, and that's what I'm going to try and do with the superhero thing.
And I know that outside of filmmaking, you're an artist in many other ways, and including inventing things like the button-down tie.
Oh yeah.
What other inventions?
I'm not wearing it tonight.
No.
But usually it's got buttons that so it doesn't flap around.
They're invisible buttons tonight. Have you got anything else up your sleeve for the future, creative stuff that you want to do?
Creative stuff. A lot of my stuff really, I'm so deep into the film thing now, so I'm not going to escape from that for a while. But luckily, I have a lot of film ideas. I want to after Thor, I want to come back to New Zealand and do more films after that, and I have local stuff that I want to do. But it's I think that it doesn't really matter what happens in my life. I think I'll always try to create something.
And lastly, just why do you think people should see this film?
I think that in the times we're living in at the moment, that there's a lot of sadness. There's a lot of if you look at the news, there's a lot of heavy stuff going on. And I think if people are going to go to the movies and spend money on a ticket, sometimes it's nice to not be reminded of that and to have a bit of escapism. And I think for New Zealanders especially, to have that escapism and also identify with what's going on and feel like, oh wow, this is our story being told. I think that's an important thing.
Okay, well thanks so much for talking to us.
Thank you.
Thank you.